wait. We can go over here for that. Come on. Yeah. You be like, do your thing. Yeah, then we'll stream it.
Hey guys, and welcome to the New York Comic Con super vlog. Hopefully you enjoyed the intro with all the stuff that we saw at the con. It's just a quick snapshot of everything we saw. Obviously it was much bigger than that, but I wanted to feature a few of the things that were most interesting to me, including the Mezcos that you are seeing in front of you now. These to me are like the budget-friendly, small-scale version of Hot Toys. They capture important moments from movies and TV shows. They're iconic. They've even got the Moon Knight figure coming out soon, which is probably the first toy out that is featuring the character that's going to be in the next movie. There's iconic versions of the comic book heroes. You've got Aquaman here, who is still blonde and with very vibrant colors compared to the movie version. I'm not going to say that these should be replacing Hot Toys, but if you want to subsidize your collection with something else that's more affordable or more accessible, they're definitely something to think about, and there's also a lot of characters here that aren't available in Hot Toys. The other really great thing about this scale is that you can pose all your figures in the same display cabinet in a really impressive diorama like this. They're not super expensive, so you don't have to worry about them getting damaged over time by being in very dynamic poses. It gives you the opportunity to be more creative in a smaller amount of space, and you can regularly change it up and reuse your backgrounds as much as you like. Of course, in honor of Kid Collection, we had to visit the Dragonball display, and there was a really cool Capsule Corp fake facade building inside the Javits Center. And Justin got to try this really cool arcade-style Dragonball hunting game. You had to click the button in time as the ball tracked around the screen, and he said despite it being very simple, it was a lot of fun. Even though I don't fully understand it or even like it, I have to hand it to Dragonball for having such a successful range of figures. And when I say range, I mean they have a series called Ultimate Deformed Mascot, which is just completely unreal to me. But they come in every scale and style, and they're very collectible because of how many characters there are and how many versions of each character there are. So props to the guys who created Dragonball, because their toys are very sellable and very marketable. Now, if you guys have a taste for something even more detailed and more accurate than Hot Toys, you might be interested in the Queen Studios busts. Looking at this Terminator one, for example, you can see the amount of time and effort that would have gone into making these. They are $1,200, I think, even, for a bust of a Wonder Woman or any of the other DC characters. I don't think this is everybody's cup of tea. It won't fit in everyone's house. It won't fit everyone's budget. But if you really love a character or a film that much, this is the way to celebrate it. And last but not least, I do have to show you the Hot Toys, but mind you, it was difficult to shoot because this booth was at the front of the con, at the very entrance, and everyone was swarming around it. Even though they might not know what it is, they can tell it's impressive. It's of very popular, very on-trend characters right now. So everyone was standing around taking photos and trying to win a free Hot Toy. So here is the footage. It's not fantastic, but it's all the stuff that you've probably already seen before. My favourite of the day, despite not even being a huge Star Wars fan, was The Mandalorian and the IG-11. I'm looking forward to Taika Waititi's rendition of a Star Wars droid character, and I really like the look and the detail of The Mandalorian. I love the retro Star Wars kind of look with the dirtiness and the dustiness. And of course, there was plenty of neon tech love. There was a bright fluoro orange neon tech war machine. People were taking photos of it even though they really didn't get what it was. And unfortunately, the bright lights inside the center didn't really do the figure any justice. The colors were lost, but Justin actually shined a UV blue light onto the figure and the fluoro orange reflected very nicely. And back to Mysterio. You have already seen him before, but people still want to see him more closely. Try and see if that seam on the helmet is as obvious as it seems, which in person, I don't think so. The painting that creates the smoke on the inside of the globe or bulb is helping conceal it a lot better. And really, when you look at the rest of the figure, it's sort of the last thing your eye goes to. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now, if you caught any of the streams live from the con, that's great. Of course, if you did miss them, you can still watch them. They're kind of spread out over the different channels, MISB, Justin's. I'm sure you can also find them on the group pages as well. Now, it may seem like we're all old friends at this point, but really I hadn't even met Peter until the day before the con, and I was really lucky to find that everyone is just as genuine as they seem online, and of course that isn't always the case, but these guys are so easy to talk to. It's like we've known each other forever, and it just shows that these sorts of hobbies make really good connections as well. Now, before I move on, I wanted to give some honourable mentions to the booths that really fascinated me or impressed me, including these one-up arcade guys. It's one thing to have a really great style of art, but it's another to actually present them in very interesting mediums, including these guys who do these really awesome shadow boxes. I'm kicking myself for not actually getting one of these, but it always impresses me when people can think in multiple dimensions like this. And lastly, I love the display of this custom lightsaber maker. They just put in the effort and it drew a lot of attention because of it. Your presentation suggests a lot about the quality of the products you make, and even though there are a lot of different qualities of custom lightsabers out there, this suggests that these guys are the top of the top.
Is it spicy? My any kimchi. My any spicy.
Kimchi's a little bit spicy, isn't it? It can have some chili in it.
Any spicy food like that.
Video of everyone.
Hey. Ryan, we're getting churros.
Your favorite!
I heard you like churros, Ryan. Yeah. Oh yeah, Zach. Where's Zach?
Where is he?
Zach's right here. What's up?
Say, hey Ryan, we're getting churros.
Oh, hey Ron, we're getting churros, and if if we don't like them, we don't throw them away.
So whilst exploring the city with Zach and Susan, Zach took us to this sneaker store called Flight Club, and there's a YouTube show about it. I had never watched it before because we're really not that into sneakers. Then whilst we were just wandering around waiting for the time to leave, Justin spotted these sneakers that he'd been eyeing for a long time.
Yeah, I'm getting these.
Alright. Justin's first pair of sneakers like ever. And he gets the most expensive one. Where are the lights? Where are the lights?
Oh, I like that.
Okay. That's so cool.
It sounded like you were putting on robots. I like this. Yeah, I want them.
Okay.
Sold.
Done. Tell him.
I'm gonna tell him. How do I take them off?
I don't know. I think you have to push a button.
No, I think you just take them off. I don't want to come off.
I can hear it. It's like a tiny, like high-pitched, like whirring sound. Wow.
So even though we went in there originally trying to find sneakers for Susan, Justin somehow ended up walking out with his first ever pair of sneakers or kicks, and they are the flashiest, most expensive shoes that I can even fathom. And there they are in the back there. They've got their own special box. They've got a special charging pad. They're inspired by the Back to the Future self-lacing sneakers you see in the movie. It's just crazy. And I think worst of all was the fact that we had told ourselves we were no longer going to buy any more toys. Our luggage was full. We'd packed everything. And then we go and buy the shoes with the biggest box of all to try and take home with us. So that was essentially the entirety of our trip, and before I go on to the haul, I wanted to say thank you to Peter, to Nick, Zach, Susan, for making this trip what it was. It wouldn't have been the same if it was just Justin and I going around the Comic Con. I feel like that was what is going to make the trip the most memorable to me. I never met some of you guys before, and I'm so glad I did, and I had such a great time. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you either at our wedding or on our next adventure. Guys, we are home and we have an absolute mess on our hands of all the stuff we bought. Mixture of just stores around New York and New York Comic Con itself. We've also got special guest today, Chester.
Uninvited guest, mind you. But I guess we'll allow it.
Who should go first? We'll start with your stuff maybe?
Oh, my stuff.
Yeah. This is all the stuff that Justin got.
Look, it's the nature of airline travel, I guess, and the way that we just jammed everything. Some stuff survived better than others. Anyway, so I got this. Obviously, I think you've seen some of this stuff, maybe or maybe not. Movie masterpiece Jazz. Again, his box, unfortunately, a little bit damaged. And then the Transformers model kits.
Oh.
I've organized them in order of severity in terms of the damage. This is by far the worst. This is Megatron, and then we've got two Seekers. I didn't plan on buying, then again, I never planned on buying this many toys, but they had 2 for $50, and I couldn't pass it up. These guys survived pretty much perfectly intact. There's a couple of nicks on the boxes. They're model kits. You build them. You don't really look at the boxes anyway. Then we've got Prime, and then we've got another Prime, which is the, for some reason, San Diego Comic-Con special edition, but they had it at New York anyway. I picked that one up as well. And then this is another Transformers figure. It's Mirage, for those of you who know Transformers, the film version of Mirage, of course. And then this was a very last-minute decision. Literally on the second last day, we were at GameStop, and then everyone was just being total enablers. The hyper-real Darth Vader, it was the day after? Yeah, the day after Force Friday, or Triple Force Friday. I still hate that name. And I saw this, and it looked absolutely outstanding, so I, of course, had to have it. And then everyone was like, yeah, you need to get it. You better get it. And then Zach was like, if you don't get it, I'm going to get it. And then that's, immediate toy challenge. So I had to buy it. So I got him. So let me know if you want to see a review on my channel of that guy. Then I got this brick wall. I think you've seen this in a previous video. That's going to go with my Mezcos, which I've got a fair few actually. Batman Beyond. This was actually a really reasonable price, if I do remember. I don't see it on here, but it was something like $130. And for those of you who know me in Mezcos, this guy's really hard to find and super expensive, so I'm glad I got that. Then we got Hella. So I wasn't planning on buying any more Mezcos, but I have the Hulk and I have the Thor, so I had to get the Hela, of course, to complete the set. You can't have an incomplete set. And then I got these two right here. I'm a huge fan of Punisher and Daredevil, the Netflix shows. I just got the 1-to-1 scale Daredevil helmet, actually, and I've got the So-So Toys Hero Lawyer. Terrible name, I know, but a great looking figure. So I had to get the Mezco figures. I've been eyeing these off for a while. You've probably seen in the previous videos, I was at Minotaur. I picked this up like twice, both times, and I didn't get it. They were too cheap to pass up over in New York. They were like 80 bucks. Here they are like 159. So I had to get them.
Guys, I don't know what happened, but I'd had a lot more footage after that last clip you saw. I'm really annoyed because I did film the entire haul for you, but now I have to redo it. There is a lot more than what's here. We've got kid collection stuff as well, but that is already now in her display cabinet. So when we do kid collection tour, we will show you all of that then. But here is the stuff that I got. You've already seen some of this. So there's Winnie the Pooh from the Christopher Robin movie. That's from the Disney store in Times Square. And these two you may have already seen. They are from the Lego store. I actually hate brickheads. I was just telling Justin, I think they look like morbidly obese versions or stumpy morbidly obese versions of what they're trying to be. I told myself I would never get one, but here I am with one because I thought that this would be the only sort of Lego souvenir that I was going to be able to get. However, this one, which originally was displayed like vertically like this in the box, can be repieced together and sit like this. So that actually sits perfectly in terms of scale next to the Lego Creator double-decker bus from London. So I've just taken her apart. That's fine. I'll put her together in a second. This Totoro is from a blind box. I got two of them actually, and this is the mystery one that has the question mark on it, or the chase as Justin calls it. It's actually the same as the other one that I got, which is just him without this little white friend on the top. So it's a little bit annoying because I could have gotten one with an umbrella or something a bit different, but I got the mystery one, so I guess I'm kind of lucky. This is the Celebration Pusheen, which comes, it used to come anyway, in a subscription box for Pusheen things. They don't do them anymore. However, they did have the final figures still available for sale. And I thought about getting one of the other ones because there were Christmas themed ones, spring or Easter themed ones, but this I could at least display all year round, so we went for the Celebration one and the balloons instead. I really like it. I do still like the other ones, but I had to make a very difficult decision. So now you may have seen this one in the box before. I've actually now put it together. It's the Bandai Eevee model kit. There is also a Pikachu one and I think a Mewtwo one now. I really like the posability of this actually for such a simple body shape. There's a lot of moving parts like the ears and the tail. Everything's on ball joints, and even the, I don't know what you call this. It's like a little mane or a tuft of fur around his neck. That all flaps up and down as well. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to be able to do a few different poses once I get a few of these and they can hang out together. Pugshin, you've already seen. Again, I love these ears. Kitty collection time. There's one. There's two. There's two I got in New York. These guys are called Tentacle Kitties. The name is kind of obvious. I think these guys are a company local to New York, which is awesome. And that's why I got them, because I didn't think I'd be able to find them anywhere else. They are, of course, varying in styles as well. So as you can tell, the smaller ones have shorter, stumpier tentacles. They're much cuter. And then the big one has long, sort of tendril-like, sort of squid-like tentacles. So I liked them both, and they are drastically different. So every one you get sort of is justified. When you collect each one, they're very different. This guy glows in the dark. I think specifically the eyes and the ears where the green is, and I don't know how to define this, but if you really like soft toys like I do, you will start to feel the difference between the very soft fabrics and the sort of rough, normal, cheap teddy bear types fabrics, and these guys are made out of just the softest, plushest stuff, the stuff that you buy for like baby toys and that sort of thing. So they're just really satisfying, and it looks really creepy that I'm rubbing my fingers through the tentacles like this, but it's just a really nice feeling. So this guy I walked away from, and then I said to Justin, we're going back, I'm going to get it, I'm not going to be able to find it again. And it's special because it smells like fairy floss or cotton candy, I think US citizens call it. So this guy stunk the entire suitcase out. So everything in that suitcase now smells like cotton candy, which is, I guess, not a bad thing. But I guess the best thing about these is they're not too dear. This one was 15, this one was 30. They appear handmade. They're very unique. They're designed by, you know, an artist. And they have very awesome traits like smelling nice or glowing in the dark or having unique textures, etc. So please check them out if you'd like. They're called Tentacle Kitties again. I'm sure you'll be able to find a website or something on here. They all have little names and descriptions and just something really unique. So I don't even like Hello Kitty. I don't know anything from Hello Kitty, but because this was the exclusive at New York Comic Con and it's New York themed, I kind of felt like I had to get it, and because it's only a pop, it wasn't a super big investment or anything. So this is the Hello Kitty Lady Liberty pop. I think she will just stay like this forever. She's not going to become part of a Hello Kitty collection or anything, but again, it's how I like to collect souvenirs from my holidays, so that's going to join the collection. So that is everything. There are a few more minor things, but they're scattered around the house and I really can't be bothered finding them at this point. So sorry again that the footage has been a little bit jumpy. I am trying to patch together what I'm missing, unfortunately. But like I said, we will do Kid Collection's collection tour. That's a real mouthful. We will do that very soon so that you get to see everything that she's collected recently, because she has continued to collect very aggressively since you last seen her. If you haven't already, do check out the other New York vlogs and subscribe if you'd like to see more of the same content. And of course, we are going to continue collecting while we're here in Melbourne. And do please comment down below what else you'd like to see while we're home until our next adventure. So like, comment and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next video.